So one of the areas that causes most golfers inconsistency is the impact area, and the big difference between good ball strikers and, if you like, sort of, professional golfers when it comes to hitting the golf ball is that they always make sure that the hands are ahead of the club head. Now, this doesn't mean you have to have like a tremendous amount of shaft lane. I'm not talking about the fact that you need loads of shaft lane to be able to hit the golf ball correctly. But what you do need to make sure is that the club head isn't overtaking the hands in the hitting area, and this catches most golfers off guard. Now, the reason why this happens is because of the hands. So with amateur golfers, what happens is as they start the downswing, and if I sort of hold the club single-handedly here to best illustrate this, as they come down, the hands tend to work on a wider path. And the reason for this is because the sort of upper arm doesn't move like this as it would do with a professional whilst shifting weight towards the lead side. What tends to happen is golfers tend to stay much more sort of stagnant, and the arms move more this way, so the hands work wider. And therefore that means by the time you hit the golf ball, again, the club head is overtaking the hands, as opposed to if you move more this way with a weight shift, the hands always stay forward. Now, obviously you can try and make swing changes in many different ways. You can go through, thinking about it, drills, exercises. But the thing that I would say, as a nice visual, if I was sort of facing you guys, is if I obviously lead with my hands come down forward, right? So if I draw a couple of crosses here to sort of represent a hitting area, if my hands are leading, then the feeling will be that the sort of club head is slightly behind me, and therefore the club head should feel like it sort of comes in on that inner quadrant like so. If I sort of now demonstrate more of a flipping action, can you see the way it always sends the club slightly outward? Okay, like so. So what I'm basically saying is most amateur golfers end up sort of hitting the outer quadrant of the golf ball, and then what they do is they sort of mask behind that by either excessively sort of turning to try and hit it from the inside, or just throwing in some sort of compensation with maybe things like alignment. And this is why with the majority of golfers I see that play on the course, they struggle with alignment, because it's almost like they aim right to compensate for the slight flip to kind of, as I've been explaining in terms of getting the hands forward. So I would say the best way to practice this is to focus on getting more of a feeling of your hands leading, and you want to try and concentrate on it in the inner quadrant of the golf ball. And I'd suggest just when you hit some shots down the range, just start off by hitting some shots with your feet more open. So if you have your feet aiming more left of the target to start off with, and then this will kind of encourage you to make sure your hands lead, to make sure that club face gets nice and square on the back of the golf ball. And I just think that way this just becomes a simple exercise where at least you know that if you move your feet out the way, you know that you're getting your hands into a good placement if the ball is going in the direction. Because like I say, I know there's lots of drills and lots of exercise of having a close stance, but to be honest with you, it causes a massive compensation for the hit. So hit some shots like that, get those hands leading, focus on hitting that inner part of the golf ball first and foremost. Simple, effective. See you soon.